think how close this game is going to be. These teams aren't too far off on the table so far in this season in Prem. Obviously, Ascent is scoring a little bit higher currently, but top five have had some tough games so far. They've already had Feint in 7, so it's very understandable as to why they might have had some rough games so far. I feel like this could be a pretty evenly matched game overall.
I think what's probably more likely to happen is I feel like if Ascent are going to win confidently on a map, like, with a 3+ kind of round advantage, it will probably be on process. I think Metalworks might be a very different kind of show. Like, all the players in the server are old enough to have played Metalworks back in the day when it was in ETF2L. But even still, it's been a long time, and honestly, people might not have even figured it out back then. A lot of things have changed between now and then, and the dynamic of kind of how the map can be played. It's obviously developed a little bit over time. I feel like if I was to give a prediction, maybe Ascent will fairly confidently win process, but it will be much, much closer on Metalworks just because it's got that little bit kind of more of a surprise factor.
Yeah, that seems reasonable. I'm hoping for it's still a good game, even if Ascent do happen to roll process, which is realistic. I'd love to still see a great game, obviously. That's what it really boils down to in the end.
Frag clips, right? Like,
yeah,
that's what matters. Whatever happens, if Elicor's in the service, someone's getting piped out the air. Someone's getting like doubled. It's just pure fact of the game. Same's true for like callback roaming on process. I think like every demo man in Prem at this point has said that callback is the most irritating soldier to play against on process, just because you can never quite prepare for what he's doing. You can know vaguely what his plan is. Maybe he's going aggressive and he's going to keep going faster. But his little adaptations he makes just makes every mid so uncomfortable as a demo. And as much as Domo's a powerhouse, if he kind of starts getting shut out by callback, it's going to be hard for Ascent to really get into the mids. And I think at that point, we might start seeing stuff like, some of these snipers to mid, if Domo's not able to get some of that initial kind of damage and aggression. But yeah, frag clips, that's all I care about. Who cares about results?
Exactly. And who cares about anything but the sniper headshot clips? As it appears the game is finally starting, we're going to be headed into this first middle fight of our game tonight. Let's see what these teams are up to for this very first round. As they are slowly making their ways to the middle point, it appears that Eliko was a little bit faster to mid. Domo screwing up his rollout. However, he's immediately getting bombed by Zebo. Zebo being really fast to mid here, just leading the charge of his team before deciding to maybe back off because there's nobody to back him up for a bit. Now Poly going for a high bomb here, being countered by Opti. Goes deep into the combo. Does manage to actually pick up Neo and the Mole with the follow-up by Zebo's side. That is a big crumble on the side of top 5 there. Umbrak does escape with his life, but my god, the coordination there.
Yeah, that was really nice and crispy. The second Ascent saw callback go behind, they were like, okay, boys, we're committing deep. And you saw how passive top 5 were playing from the start. Ascent, they're taking absolutely no prisoners at all. And even walking into last hit, Umbrak did get out, but he wasn't healing that entire time. Connor's just about to get his Uber, 98% now. They should be able to walk straight to point here. Yeah, there's no stickies even towards it, but Neo's been headshot. How did that happen?
Neo just gets the headshot from the spawn door onto Connor, dropping him, making sure that team does not get to push now. That's crucial. Ascent will not be able to fulfill this push in any realistic manner. And top 5 have managed to stabilize after that mid. They will actually manage to retake their second point here. Some stragglers of Ascent still aggressive here. Polygon and Credu specifically coming in through IT, just trying to do a little bit of damage. And that rest of Ascent re-aggressing as well now onto the point, pushing top 5 back. Umbrak finally popping off his Uber, essentially forced because he doesn't want his players to die. And Polygon pays with his life. They chase out the remnants of Ascent here and manage to at least stabilize on that second point.
That was so nice from Ascent there. Like, you saw how far they got into Choker, how much damage they dealt before forcing Umbrak. Like, losing only Polygon for the amount of space and damage and kind of, like, position they managed to take. They, like, I don't know. That's kind of crazy, and I feel like it's top 5 maybe giving Ascent a little bit too much respect here, or possibly some kind of technical problems, as I think we're already into our first pause of the game. 2 minutes in, we're already pausing.
2 minutes in. What could have possibly happened within 2 minutes that would cause the game to be paused? Well. Yeah, that was a good stabilization by top 5 overall, though. I gotta say, I thought that round was over. By the time I saw Ascent on last, I thought the game was already over. Neo just actually saved them the round there with that headshot. I'm pretty sure that's the only thing that saved them.
Yeah, 100%. I think, granted, there's only so much you can take from like the first 2 minutes here, but I'm liking a sense of aggression at this point. I'm liking the fact that they are willing to kind of commit just far enough to make things really uncomfortable for top five. Like I said, that recontest from Choke was by no means a safe bet for Ascent, but they're confident that, at least in their minds, they are a substantially stronger team in these team fights. So it's definitely. I feel like if they're going to start playing like that, top five kind of just start changing things. But I did just have a little whisper of information that there might be some server changing. So we might have just a brief little technical pause as we try and get this sorted a moment, get ourselves all connected into the new one. But I guess we'll have to, we'll have a few more minutes to talk about things.
Exactly. Unfortunate those first 2 minutes are going to waste, but if it's any indication of the game, we'll see where it takes us, I suppose. Once that new server comes up, maybe not. We'll have to see.
I'm sure it'll all be good. At least, it'd be pretty crushing kind of going into things and already losing your first round. We are seeing just the remnants of obviously where they paused in the FTV delay, so I'm going to desperately hope Ascent didn't somehow get around in this time before the pause happened. But honestly, maybe they did.
It's looking like they did.
Yeah, big old Uber advantage here.
Well, we'll see what they do with it. I'll just continue pretending like nothing ever happened. As a center is taking this lobby area now, looking to push into the last point. Polly jumping in ahead, getting onto Umbrak, doing a lot of damage, but not managing to clean up the kill. Neither does Zebosai, getting the Knight by the Sentry too. And that was an attempt. An attempt was made.
You gotta give it a go, you gotta give it a go. Both teams do have the Uber at this point, so we're rapidly closing in on the moment where we saw everything happen, but, top five peeking and prodding. Doing whatever.
Gets a nice kill onto Ams there, just a quick body shot. Domo really caught out between 3 players of top 5 there, and they're finally onto the point. Now Connor pops off his Uber, Umbrak quick to respond with his own, and the exchange is on. Credu does pick up Neo on behind though, and Korvac kills Polygon in exchange. Zebo tries to escape and dies with his life, and Credu is now the only player still ahead. Yep, there they go, okay. Server's now empty.
Rest in peace.
Everybody's been snapped out of existence. All right.
Okay. Well, I guess we have a little bit more time to go over some predictions while they get everything sorted. I don't know, right? So maybe this is me looking too far into things, right? As top 5 right now, you're probably thinking, oh, things are feeling weird. Whatever, we got to get a different server sorted. Right now, they've got to be thinking to themselves alongside that. Ascent are confident, right? They're going to start walking through these doorways. They're going to start trying to, kind of take the position any inch which top 5 gives them. They're going to take a mile. I think top 5 need to, they're going to have to be thinking, right, we need to play tight, and we need to be playing not together, but they need to be playing pretty well as a team. You already saw first mid, Korvac goes behind, Ascent and goes forward, rolls them entirely. Korvac basically, comes in right at the end. It ain't going to happen. You can't jump to 185, finish scouts, and expect to live. It ain't going to happen. I think, it was a nice strat to start things off, but I don't think we can trust behind plays on mid. I want to see top 5 making immediate changes, snappy.
They have to find an immediate way to respond to the aggression of Ascent. I mean, obviously, an attack is a good defense. I wonder if they try to go aggressive themselves. I don't think they will, but even if they just provide Ascent with less mistakes, less room, less space, less God knows what, it could be very favorable for them. From what we saw so far, at least, I'd argue.
It's all good, at least Neo's already popping off. We've had one little drop from Condog already. He is a prominent dropper. Not in a negative way. There was a very famous medic back in the day who said, there's some Ubers you want to use, some Ubers you want to drop, and in that situation when you're pushing last, maybe you do want to drop Ubers every now and then just to get in the head, when you become so in their head that you don't even need to win. I like it.
It's part of the 3D chess move, because you drop your Uber and that makes the enemy team aggressive and you just pick them all off. You just have your entire team hide out. It's all part of the great strategy. I can already see it coming. They're gonna have this weird strategy where they just let their medic die and then everybody hides in the corner. Some wacky shenanigans like that.
I think while we have another minute or two, we've talked a little bit about the scout matchup. I kind of want to talk a little bit about the demo matchup because to me, both demos are really, really important for their team. Obviously, Alacor is known, at least for a period of time in ETF2L, as like the biggest DM kind of demo out there. He was like absolutely crazy. He could just like take over games in himself. And as much as we've not seen Domo do that for quite as long a period of time, when Domo's on his game, he's kind of the exact same. The only issue is obviously Domo's not quite as kind of he hasn't been quite as active in playing recently. So I was just wondering, what's your kind of feelings? Do you think Alacor is going to kind of outplay Domo a little bit? You know, being a little bit more practiced, or do you reckon you know Domo's rust is already gone just a few weeks in?
Realistically, Alacor is a lot more experienced. At least recently, he's got a lot less rust on him. He's probably going to be performing more consistently. But if Domo does just have a good day, he's got a good stride going. I feel like it could be a very, very even matchup. But consistent, like in terms of consistency, I feel like Alacor is going to be the man to look out for. And obviously, he creates a no-fly zone around him every time he's on the map as Demo Man and has a grenade launcher in his hand. So that's scary when you're trying to jump at him, I'd argue.
It's like, you know, half the fear is do I die? Half the fear is do I end up in a frag clip? It's pretty terrifying. Okay, I am seeing some boys getting onto a server, so hopefully they will start getting themselves sorted and we will be able to continue fairly shortly. Although you know what things are like, you know.
You never
Prem
know.
players and server issues. What can you do?
They never know what servers to pick. They just do not. They just cannot decide. And for some reason, this is not me trying to throw shade, but I've had this experience over the years as well. For some reason, it's always an issue when French people are involved. It's almost always a server issue. I don't know what it is, but
It's because right, French players have historically been spoilt with their beautiful, like, you know, 5 to 6 ping French servers. You know, that's I think enough said. You know, coming from a Brit, I used to get 5 ping to French servers back in the day, back when I was at uni. It was scary.
Interesting.
It was good times. It's not that interesting. I will be honest with you. Right, I see another new connect. I see another opportunity for us to get started and try and get into this game a little bit. I feel like whenever I have these kind of problems, you know, when I'm trying to like get started with the game, especially like when you've already started, you know, you start your official, you're like all hype, you're like, yeah, let's do this, you know, I'm gonna own, awesome, right? Yeah, I'm starting to like hit shots, and then you have like 5 minutes of kind of like waiting on the server problems, and then I just kind of become a bit like, ah, like you can only build yourself up once, you know.
Yeah, you ran into a traffic jam. It's like, well, damn, what do I do now? Like you had that flow going, you know, we're all pumped up, the adrenaline's rushing through your veins, and then just gets built off and nothing happens. So what? What are you gonna do now? Now, 10 minutes later, the game continues, and all that passion is gone. It's been sucked out of you by just waiting. It's not that this server is actually good, but
I say that I've seen a lot of French passion in previous officials, primarily in chat. They're very passionate in chat. I'm hoping to see some of that.
I wonder. Was the French game was last week, right? With both French teams. I believe that was last week. I do not remember. I wonder what that must have been like.
I believe it was actually, yeah, it was last week. I didn't actually catch it live, but it looks like it was pretty close. So I said there was at least in my head a now legendary official. I believe it was last season of the 2 French teams. And it was an absolute nightmare. There was like 3 mercs over the course of the game. Elico had to step in and play medic at one point. Ombrak lost 3 maps, like 3 official maps in one night. It was pretty terrifying. Oh my lord, thank God. Okay, we have a server again.
And they're actually in it too, and they're looking to get started again. Wonderful. All right, let's hope that these players continue soon. We can pretend like nothing ever happened, and we just had another 15 minutes delay slapped on for no reason.
Yeah, it's all good. It's all good. Right. Okay. You know, just as the players need to rehype themselves, I'm going to rehype myself. Right. We're going to get into this. You know, we're going to see
Let's go
pounding. We're going to see players walking through choke points. Top 5's going to be, you know, floundering everywhere, but they're going to bring it back because Neo's going to be hitting his shots. Ombrak's going to be, I don't know, hitting some dope surfs or arrows or something. You know, whatever really, really good medics do. I am feeling it. We are 10 players in the server. Right. Surny, do you think that 2 minutes is going to really mess with these teams, or do you still favor Ascent?
I still think Ascent are going to be on top of their game more.
Damn.
I know,
I'm
but I
surprised
feel
to hear
like
this.
if it, I feel like it is like a threshold you hit with a break when it's like short enough. We're like 3 or 4 minutes. I think it doesn't matter much. It doesn't take the flow. But this was pretty long. You know, it was like almost 10 minutes now that we've been waiting to get back into the game. I feel like that's like a reset switch. Once you reach that threshold of time, it's a reset switch. It's like a blank slate. Everybody's heading back into this now. It was just like, oh, they scrimmed for 2 minutes essentially, and that's it. So we're gonna see. I feel it's gonna be a reset. We're gonna see a fresh game for the
I love
most
fresh
part.
games. I love fresh games. I love feeling free to kind of go with whatever. I think curveball at this point, right? Now you're going off glass to mid. Everyone spent 10 minutes talking about, oh, got to sort this, got to sort that, got to, do whatever is right. What's happening, right? People aren't going to be expecting like the crazy off glass to mid. This is where you do that immediate momentum in your favor, and then you just start taking control. From that 1 round advantage, you do more and more and more. That's my big brain like strats. I don't think they're going to do it. That's what I would do. I would go like full gimmick right now because like people won't even remember to like spy check and spawn. I actually didn't see either team doing that. I don't think.
I don't think they did. Nobody really expects off classes on the first round ever, and nobody really does it. But obviously, you should check. I haven't seen it much ever, but yeah, it's free info essentially. I don't know why they wouldn't. Essentially, good call that they didn't do that yet. Maybe they'll do it this time. Maybe they won't. Maybe they'll just completely forget. Let's hope we get started soon. That's really what I'm hoping for here. Come on. All right. Got a minute left of just talking about something before we finally get started with these gamers.
I'm taking a moment to just enjoy the in-game chat as they discuss what the exact situation was, where everyone was positioned. The ball insisted they were pushing last and were 4-0 up. I think that was what happened, right? I think
that's pretty true.
Something to that effect. I think they're actually going to try and recreate the situation. Okay, I don't even remember, right? This is a little bit of esports history. This is like esports regular kind of, recent history. But I'm pretty sure there was like one kind of I think it might have even been like a CS major where they had to like do a server reset and they literally recreated shot for shot like 6 or 7 rounds to make sure everyone was in the same economic position. And it was actually like you saw it on the stream. They were like, okay, and then I headshot this guy here. Like they literally just redid the entire thing. If they now spend 2 minutes doing that, it's like I'll be sad, obviously, but I'll be impressed.
Yeah, I mean, fair enough. That's good sportsmanship at that point. I wouldn't complain. It would certainly put us into the same position, and then my entire talk about it being a blank slate is completely nulled out. But fair enough. If they're looking to do that, that'd be fine. I don't mind. I certainly do not. We saw Ascent ready to push last, right? That's what the situation was. They were like just outside of lobby. I don't know who was that though. I think they're gonna have trouble recreating that in the exact way. But if they go as far as to actually,
I'll be honest, right? I feel like any reasonable situation, you just said SS player mid again. Like it wasn't that big of an advantage for either team, from what I can remember. I think you would just just play it. We're seeing about 15 different reconnects as people trying to sort out like their HUDs and everything. We're gonna do it. I'm excited here. Oh my god, top 5 is readied up. They're showing the passion. They're already here. They're ready to go.
Let's go! Finally, the game continues, and we're gonna be able to actually see some gameplay happening between top 5 and Ascent. Hopefully. No, they maybe. I don't know. I heard a countdown for a moment, but nothing's happening.
They're just, making sure they're ready. We're doing it.
Okay, let's go. There we go, finally. Alright! I'm just gonna pretend that this is now the first round, the first mid, because they did change the time limit, so I'm assuming they're just gonna continue from this mid to pretend the first round never happened. As we're now headed into this first round, Domo again, a little bit slower than Elikor here, but Elikor being alone, Zebasai really fast, denying him the med pack entirely, and he just has to back off, the entirety of top 5 backing off. I believe they are trying to recreate the round here. They're just letting Ascent take mid. And they're gonna camp on second. Alright, fair enough.
Look at this sportsmanship. I was really confused for a second. I saw Opti on Spy for about 20 seconds. I'm like, is he doing it? Is he off-passing to mid? No, he wasn't. They were just, conceding mid.
As we see Ascent mounting for a push, Polygon essentially just sacrificing his life to try to get some damage onto Umbrak. Does obviously not succeed in his plans, and Ascent are forced to back off Top 5 now being a little bit more aggressive in the choke area here, with Opti really far forward in IT and actually jumping in onto mid, getting onto Connor, not connecting the rockets though, and not managing to drop that Uber charge, unfortunately.
There was a big old 0 damage on Connor as well, and they sacrificed both soldiers for it as well, so this is where Ascent looks to start trying to move forward. You see how far back top 5 got to play here. Yeah, Elikor put this guy forward on his team, even has to just back out one completely clean, easy free take from Ascent. That's proper clinical, and even now they have an opportunity with these players just only healing up on the side of top 5 to go for some kind of sack and force attempt.
They're gonna be doing exactly that. Am's already in far. The entirety of Ascent actually just walking in on the far side here. Connor going a little low, eating a pipe across the barrels there by Elikor, and getting spammed down a little bit. Finally popping off his Uber as they take down Opti, and now Umbrak finally responding with an Uber on his own. Ascent, of course,
so
just
good.
back out here, and he gets Connor with it. Wonderful. That's what you want to see. Now Credu's in onto Korvac. And he just keeps trying to do something. Not gonna happen. Not even a Zebasai backup is gonna be enough. Top 5 hold on. They hold on for now. Ams is hiding in a very precarious position. God knows if anybody's gonna check there. Neo does check.
They smart. They smart. Frenchies know what's going on. Like that was just really, really well played there. Like they knew, like classic Ascent kind of push, full on Ams Uber. Give him like full beam, trust that he's gonna hit everything. I mean, he hits shots on that one player, but I mean, Umbrak just gets to milk for so long, so much better than Uber. Now they get to push into mid. They've got Uber advantage here. Still having some difficulty getting through this choke point though. They're playing things nice and slowly. Soldiers on Ascent doing good work, just trying to force him back, but it does look like
to make any mistakes.
I don't know. They do look like they want to recontest a little bit. Umbrak's going to be a little bit careful. Just only getting his Uber now. These two frags will secure the mid though, and picking up Domo. Now that's questionable for Ascent.
That is a big pick on the side of top 5 there. There's not going to be any stickies around to slow them down when trying to take this second Ever. And they're going to be able to do that for essentially free here, as Ascent are just going to try to stabilize on the last point and hold. Connor now coming up on his own Uber charge, and we do see Credu on the sniper. He's going to try to just get that cheeky little headshot through the spawn door if he potentially can. Top 5, they seem to be aware, or at least expect it, and they're taking the far side here. Korvac does get taken down, though. And that's going to slow them down. That's going to stop them dead in their tracks. As Ascent now coming back out through one here, through the shutter. Just laying down the damage. Connor being the first one to pop off. Umbrak also now popping off. He did lose Elikor in that, though. And that's not a good sign. They're going to have to back out further.
This is actually so sick for Ascent. Every single push, like they're just giving the complete no respect plays. Like any other teams in that situation, it's like a one-player advantage. It's a soldier as well. Like whatever, we'll snipe, we'll peek lobby, we'll like try and take some position, whatever. Ascent goes for like the full commit. They catch a player off, and now, I mean, it's equal Ubers, but they're still just taking so much space on mid. I mean, top 5 are looking scared right now, right? Like they're giving Ascent a lot of respect, and Ascent are taking every single piece of ground off it. It seems like they can just kind of free push wherever they want, really.
It's like a wall of death moving forward, at least in the eyes of top 5, and they just keep moving back, trying to just stay away from the fray as much as they can. We're gonna see the same thing again, probably. Ascent jumping in already. Polygon does get taken down, but Zebo slips through behind. They are aware of his whereabouts, and the Mole is gonna try to fight him and potentially take him down with help from Korvac. But that situation alone was scary enough for top 5, and they looked a little scared by that too. Now Ascent 2 players down though, no soldiers on their side. It's gonna be an opening for them to try to push through choke. Obviously, no! Connor is gonna be aware and just Uber Ams in, and they actually take down Elikor, because Umbrak just refuses to pop until it is too late.
This is okay, right? So Condog at least does go down there, but you see the rest of top 5 are basically wiping. Like again, what teams sit there with 2 soldiers down? They just like play close on choke, and for some reason top 5 like aren't expecting it. Like dropping Elikor there is basically unforgivable. Granted, he got shot so far where you probably couldn't even like get the beam on him, but the fact that Ascent go 2 down, take a dirty trade on a solo scout on choke, and end up in a winning situation is like it's crazy. Like I said, thank God they did lose Connor, so it does look like top 5 will at least keep control of their second. They will have Uber advantage, but like Ascent are playing super greedy, and it's really just working.
That aggressive play was beautiful. They saw Korvac jump through and they said, all right, it's time to hold the W key. Acceleration on, let's move forward. And that's exactly what they did. It was beautiful to watch. Honestly, they were just waiting for Korvac to jump through. It's like they expected him. to just jump through that choke point. Well, they're going to be taking mid, though, as Ascent just see themselves at a disadvantaged position. They have Credo on the sniper again, just standing on the battlements there, looking at that sewer door or a choke. Maybe he can pick off a head or two. We'll have to see if anybody is greedy enough to peek him and does not respect him. He's now rotated over to it. He does get a headshot onto Korvac, does not manage to clean up the kill, though, and he's going to be forced to back off as we see a bit of a reset. Again, Domo playing very aggressively here in choke as well. Ascent in general just so aggressive, so far forward. Zebasai basically alone in IT, but they know that nobody's on top 5 is going to contest them. Because they're so scared. They're so scared of Ascent. They're just clumped up in this choke, just trying to hold them back with all they've got. Zebasai has got an insane opening. If he wants it, he can probably use it soon.
Yeah, it's really nice the way Ascent are doing things. They know that top 5 have to play behind the rock because of this Prelude Sniper and choke. So you're seeing how much space Domo is able to get through the choke point. So he's able to basically walk through choke, sticky close. We now see a big jump from Opti though. Good damage, but how is Domo hitting all of this? 3 guys!
He gets Elikor with the trap and then just pipes down Opti and the mole with the spam through choke. Umbrak also forced to pop off there for some reason, I guess to save his team and just get out. But my god, that was big.
Yeah, I don't know. That's kind of crazy. And now there's no Uber for Umbrak either. Like, I don't know. I don't know how they really get into this round. Like, Ascent can afford to play second so slow, and there's just no one from top 5 anywhere near. They know they just need to defend on last, and like they could even just leave, like, you know, half cap, leave like Credu sniping and have like Zebo finish it up, whatever, and just start going. Does look like they will move towards lobby. It's only about 40% advantage now, but they're going to be keen to start moving.
Knowing Ascent, they're going to use those 40% and just pop in right away. Credo already peeking deep. The sentry going down low. Opti also getting taken down already. I'd like to mention Zebasai has switched to the scout here as well. They finally pop off the Uber as they also take down Neo. Poly does go down in the scramble though, and Umbrak is quick to respond with his own Uber that he's finally gotten up. The Mole gonna be trying to take down Connor there. Connor trying to go for the hero saw, but it didn't quite avail. And Amps also getting taken down. That's not going to be enough for Ascent to slow down, though. They just have the DM. They're just killing all the players on top 5, and Umbrak is the only one left. Neo just now respawning. It's not going to be enough to get to the point in time, and that's a round up for Ascent.
It does just seem like Ascent are able to win so many of these scrappy fights. Like any kind of, you know, DM or focus fire-based situation, even with a sniper there, they're able to recommit. No heals, and with a sniper, they're able to recommit and win that fight. Like, Ascent are looking good, and I feel like, you know, Domo is definitely a significant part of that right now. Looking super solid here going into this second mid.
As we see Domo being a little bit quicker to mid this time around, and the rest of the teams finally following up. Both teams playing a little bit slower now. Opti finally being the first one to jump in, followed by Korvac, and Polygon just choosing to do a little bit of a loop-de-loop, getting onto Umbrak, getting him dangerously low, but not cleaning up the damage. Meanwhile, though, top 5 soldiers were pretty friggin' successful in taking down Ascent, taking down the entire combo. And only Credo is now left alive. That's a wipe from Ascent.
Much nicer from top 5. You saw, you know, they had the soldiers jump super deep and basically nuke Domo down right at the start. Like, he had boys land on him, nothing he could really do. The second that damage was out, they looked to just keep on pushing forward. They knew that Ascent were playing in this this little kind of pit location towards sewer, and like the second you're there, you've got to start moving out, otherwise you will just get crushed, and that was exactly what happened. So big old Uber advantage, opportunity for top 5 to just equal up now as they start pushing through 3.
They pop in right away, making sure that nobody goes down to Credo. They respect the sniper, taking down a sentry, but no players falling yet. The Mole being the first player to actually go down. Polygon and Amps finally getting taken down. The heavy on Credo is all out as well, and he is overhealed. That wall is not getting busted very soon, that Russian wall. Elikor tries to throw himself at it, as does Korvac, and it's just not going to work. Neo trying to cap the point off for a little bit. He does get Domo, but that 400 health heavy is just not something you take down with 1 or 2 people.
Pretty difficult, but I mean, Credo is known as the one real heavy main in Prem. I feel like, I'm pretty sure there was some kind of interview at some point where Credo made it clear that he actually preferred heavy to sniper, so showing off his prowess there. And speaking of sniper, Demul is up on his main now, so maybe he's going to start trying to get some frag clips of his own. But with all this Uber advantage and the fact that there's just a little bit less firepower on the side of top 5, then they're going to be looking to start pushing forward here through PC.
They're also aware of the sniper, as they did get shot by him, so they're going to be playing it very, very carefully, not letting Connor take any risks whatsoever. They're just going to play this very close-knit, close together, like a ball of yarn. where you don't know really what you're hitting if you're trying to shoot them, and they've managed to push back top 5 with the respect of the Uber advantage that has now subsided as Ombrak has come up on his own. Ascent already in choke, looking to push forward. Zebo trying to bomb deep, getting onto Korvac, but ultimately going very low. The rest of Ascent following up. Ams also gets taken down, and Credu gets taken down on the sidelines too. It didn't quite work out for them, did it?
No, not really. I feel like Ascent just a little bit overstayed their welcome. You know, there's confidence and then there's overconfidence, and even Domo's going to die fairly late. Okay, I thought for a second he might hit some crazy shots, but no. They're going to be sacrificing basically for their just, well, that's for the sense of ego, really, and Demul doesn't really want to let these spawns get in and start retaking some position. Both Ubers still up for their respective teams, and Demul's getting some decent position towards choke. There is an opportunity with Domo down to start moving to his choke point, but Polygon and Zebasai, they're playing to try and deny as much space as possible. And actually, no, we've moved up so far on the flank, but how? No!
Oh no!
How does Neo get on the corner?
How does he get through there? I mean, in the meantime, Zebo and Credu are just pushing back Opti, because they just overwhelmed him on the flank, and it's gonna be enough to pull Team Top 5 back here, because they can just not do anything about it. Umbrak actually going dangerously low, having to pop off as well. Credu trying to taunt him with a BM loft taunt. My god, that delay by just the flank getting through despite losing their medic, it's gonna be enough to buy Ascent some time here.
Yeah,
so
the thing is, top 5
down.
need to start moving, like right now. These spawners are coming in just about 5 seconds. They need to start moving forward, secure these frags. What an air shot from Polygon. Oh, I thought for a second Domo could be able to prevent things, but no. Really nice from top 5. They played just as fast as they needed to. They couldn't have waited even 2 or 3 seconds longer, and they're going to be equalizing this. 15 minutes into this game now, it's not looking as clear-cut for Ascent. They seem to be winning a lot of these scrappy fights, but their overconfidence, I feel, kind of cost them that round.
It definitely did, and it wasn't that they didn't buy themselves enough time either. And as we headed into the third mid now, Korvac being very, very fast, the first player to show up all alone, having to back off because there's nothing to shoot at. Now Polygon going in for the high bomb, as we've seen time and time before, as does Zebo, just trying to bait out these players, as does Opti. He actually does pick up Zebosai as Korvac goes down, and he trades with Zebo. The mole also went down in that scrappy bombing, but yeah.
I mean, even just the fact that the Ascent soldiers jumped around, they danced in the air, they didn't really even get any damage or whatever. I feel like top 5 spent the entire time of that mid really just kind of staring at them. Like, even, you know, about 15 seconds in that mid, they were just in choke and content to just like, okay, well, we have our medic, we have our Uber, we're going to walk back to last now. It is going to be equal, but you can't really play the whole game from your last. There's going to be some opportunities here for Ascent. There's no real aggressive off-classes on our defending side. I feel like, you know, there's a lot of time left on the clock, but like they're kind of letting Ascent get comfortable.
They're just taking it in. They take it in through the shutter side. Nobody's really looking. Korvac does pay with his life for it, for his just ineptitude of not looking to that door. And the Uber exchange does go out. Umbrak popping slightly later. And Center still aggressive, just trying to get an opening here. With Korvac down, they finally take down Domo with some scattershot damage, but Neo pays with his life for it, and so does Opti. The sentry finally goes down as Zebasai pays with his life for that one, and Ascent really just not looking to give this one up at all. Obviously, Ams in deep does take down Korvac with help from Credu, and Credu is still in deep as well. He's on 1 health, and he just does not die until now. My god.
Scrappy, you know? Scrappy. Everything about this is scrappy. They don't want to give up anything too easily, but I feel like they can't really stay here. We do see Zebo trying to go deep to possibly get some kind of backup attempt, but like, okay, realistically, it's not going to happen. Ascent need to just wait a second, compose themselves. They have this big Uber advantage. I'm not sure that top 5 are 100% aware of it. They are now starting them back, so Ascent do sacrifice what could have been a deep bomb for the sake of retaking second for free, and now they're going to be back to a stalemate. So they're not playing quite as aggressive now. Seems like they are, you know, a little bit aware that they kind of can't rely on that too much. So they're going to chill for a second, maybe look to take some more of these kind of, you know, aggressive trades, aggressive kind of, you know, I mean, really it just comes down to, like, they're just trying to walk in. For the time being, top 5 seem to let them do that, but at a certain point they're going to start holding these doorways, right? I mean, like, Ams just went through, like 2 shots, caught back again. We see once again another Ams Uber, but it's only about 20% worse this time. They are going to be backing out through rollout. Zebo does at least go down on the flank, but Opti overcommits a little bit too much a second. His team's not quite with him, and now, yeah, combined power of Domo and Credy taking down Neo as well. There's 3 players up on top 5. There's so much they have to commit to, and Elocor's completely out of position. This is looking to be so good for Ascent. Just standing on point, no worries at all. Making it 2-1 here.
Nobody was looking. They were never... I feel like nobody's ever expecting them to keep... Like, Ascent just trying the same thing over and over. The definition of insanity. They just keep pushing through Shatter, and nobody's ever looking there. Nobody ever expects it, and they just get shot in the bum by a scout every single time. It happened about 3 times.
Scout class. Yeah. It's, you know, sometimes it's just rough. I feel like Corback's experiencing every aspect of that kind of, you know, those scout class feels. But, I mean, new mid, new meat. New opportunity for top 5 to double beep super with their soldiers, getting a lot of damage, but Credy's starting the mid. Opti getting cleaned up easily. It's going to make things just a little bit easier. Yeah, there's going to be no soldier now at all for top 5. Credy completely uncontested really there, and they're just cleaning up more and more frags. Easy mid for Ascent. Nice and patient play cleaning up these soldiers. Moving forward to second, where top 5 are still playing close. Domo though, he's going deep. One sticky. He's getting so much damage, but he can't get this last
get it! He can't get it! He cannot finish off Umbrak. Umbrak is just too slippery. He cannot hit him. And not even Polygon can follow up, or Ems, to just clean up the kill. Polygon does trade with Opti ultimately, but you'll have to just settle for that. It was sad to witness. Domo was trying his absolute hardest to get Umbrak there. He was doing such a great job up until Umbrak decided to turn into an eel and just slip through his hands. Credy's still aggressive on the sniper here, just trying to hit something, just make sure that this fight suddenly turns the tides, because if somebody dies unexpectedly to a sniper, that's not something you like to see. Zebasai and Corback essentially trading places here. Amson deep does force off Umbrak very early. Connor, I mean,
how is this trade possibly happening? Oh, this is just so scrappy.
I don't know what's happening
from everyone. No idea at all. Either way, as seems to be the recurring theme of the game, Ascent does seem to be winning it. They might even clean up these frags towards second. Opti, is he going to be the only guy on his team managing to live? Okay, does look like along with some spawners, he'll be a little bit, you know, able to kind of survive a bit longer. I mean, it's Amzubers. This entire game is just Amzubers. Give him beat, run forward, make things happen. And it just seems to kind of be, like, working here and there. Weird flank plays are happening. I don't know. Definitely. Well, either way, time being, I feel like Ascent's just going to want to start walking through again. Yep, Polygon, airshot on callback, later dude. Nothing's going to happen here. Elocor as well, too weak to do anything on second. We're still seeing Credy sniping. We're still seeing Ascent just kind of walk forward, take all this position. I feel like they can even start moving towards lobby now. Like, you know, there's a gun up, but like they seem to be able to bust through whatever doorway they want, so just why not at this point?
They just hold the W key. They do not fear. They do not fear doors. They do not fear doorways like many other European teams sometimes tend to do. As we're probably going to see them push through Shutter here again, aggressing with the entire team. Credy also trying to get an angle onto something, essentially already taking a lot of damage before it's even fully upgraded. Demol deciding to move it because of that. Now the team Ascent have realized that that site might be hard to take. They're aggressing into lobby and going to be looking to maybe push through there. Ascent being very slow. Playing around Credy here, trying to see if he can get an opening pick, maybe open up some space for them. Any kill here really is going to be crucial, but especially Elocor, he's being very aggressive. If Credy can just get an angle onto that man, that's going to be a quick opening for for Ascent. It's going to be a big loss for a top 5. Zebasai does get taken down while he's trying to bomb in, and Corback trades. And they do Uber in.
It's a bad Uber. It's such a bad
very
Uber. They got nowhere. They got callback, right? And then absolutely nothing else. Like, if I was callback at this point, I'd be like, my man, why me? Why me every single time? Doesn't matter, though, because the rest of his team stayed alive. They kept that Uber. It's going to be such a good push now. If top 5 can start moving towards lobby, most likely, and pushing forward to second. They know Credy is going to be sniping still, most likely from around sewer. So, most likely, I think we're going to be seeing some kind of deep bomb here for Elocor. But they're not actually pushing.
They're just the content staying on last, apparently, despite being around down.
This is absolute fear from top 5. They are around down. They had an absolutely perfect advantage. I mean, Credy's terrifying to play against, you know. Seeing the return of the Zebasai Scout, you know, it warms my heart. But at the same time, there's a certain point where you're giving just a little bit too much credit to the enemy team. Instead, they're going to be chilling towards last now, and Neo's going to be sniping himself.
Ascent were expecting the same. They were very passive on second, just waiting for top 5 to push out, nothing happening, and they're finally deciding, all right, I guess they're not going to come. We're going to bring the fight to them. as they're now making their way forward again. Credu again, obviously trying to get an angle here. Trying to take lobby. They saw the sticky, so there's not going to be any huge trap kills here. They do just spam down Ams though, and he does get caught out by Elikor. It's got to be enough to slow them down for a little bit. This is not going to be the opening that they're going to use though, is it? Oh my lord, it might actually be. Top 5 are going to use the Ams pick to actually push out, or are they just being aggressive in lobby, making sure that they're just fortifying. They're trying to build a fort. They're literally just trying to build a fort. They're not going to let anything come in.
Well, see, the thing is, like, it makes sense, you know, kind of having Elikor as deep as possible towards lobby, because letting the other team get control of lobby for free is so difficult when they have a sniper. There's so many more angles which get opened up. If you can keep control of lobby, like Elikor's desperately fighting to do, it's so much easier now. We do see Ams on the spy, though. He's getting a lot of information for his team, and he should be pretty aware of how much the rest of top 5 seem to be just pushing all the way forward. They've actually used through, but taking a little bit of a trade here. Slightly worse now. They're losing players as well. Ams on the backlines gets his all-important backstab towards Korvac, and he's at least distracting the rest of the team. And top 5 will get forced back onto their own last. I mean, there's still an opportunity if they want to start pushing forward. In all this time, Credu's been sniping, but I mean, I feel like they're always in two minds. Opti's going to take this position for his team, get the high ground, force all of Ascent towards the choke point. As long as they can keep them in that choke point, it's going to be all looking good here. But Elikor, importantly, needs to get there, needs to prevent this space. Otherwise, Credu will just start slowly walking through, and that's exactly what's happening.
He gets killed by Domo, and they at least take the second point, but at what cost? They lose 3 players, including their medic, just to retake the second point. Ascent, obviously, have realized that this is their opportunity to just convert around, and obviously, they're going to be trying to do exactly that, as top 5 are scrambling to just protect this last point. Connor's coming up on his Uber charge as well. He's probably going to be just pumping that into Ams again, as we have seen time and time again, actually using it on Zebo first, but they're just going to be cleaning up these last top 5 players. With all of them spawning, even then, it's not going to be much to just hold back this Ascent powerhouse, just mulching every single top 5 player that dares to enter the meat grinder of Ascent, and that's a round.
Yeah, it's super patient the second they got that headshot on Ombrak, but really it all comes down to the fact that with that sniper and choke, Elikor wasn't able to take that position. He didn't feel comfortable getting towards that choke point, so Ascent just walked back in. You know, they get their sniper in, they get the rest of the team forward onto grass. You don't have those choke points to catch all the spam, and they just start, you know, re-pushing forward. Absolutely no worries at all. More or less what they've been doing for most of the game. But it's nice to see some patient play for Ascent. Going into this mid now, it's only 3.5 minutes left to go. Top 5 want to see something big, and with Zebo going behind, this is their opportunity to flood forward.
They absolutely are not aware of Zebasai being behind here, and he does get onto Umbrak as well. Upteam already went down, as did Elikor just now, and Korvac is trying to get onto Connor. He does not get the air shot, but he does get the crater. And, you know, even though it's unrealistic for them to win the map at this point with only 3 minutes left on the time, at least they put up a decent showing for this mid despite losing. At least they killed the medic.
I don't know, call me optimistic, but I mean, stranger things have happened. Both medics did
Fair
die,
enough.
and now Ombrak will be spawning a decent little chunk ahead of Connor. I'm gonna have a little look here. Yeah, I thought so. The second I saw him come up, I'm just like, that boy's gonna be on crits, because they know it is a very time-sensitive affair. And in fairness, when you've got Elikor as your demo, crits makes a lot of sense. So they're actually going to start trying to recontest with their slightly faster heals already onto mid. If they can take this and then start playing with their crits advantage, it will be good. But, I mean, there's a lot of back and forth here.
It's not really a crits advantage, actually. Connor's also running a crit streak right now. They're both on the crit streak.
Oh my
so
God.
It's very equal. We're going to be seeing a lot of crit stickies and rockets getting lobbed across the points anytime soon here. Zebasai does go down, trying to just aggress into the team top 5 a little bit, as does Polygon.
They gets taken down.
They get on track with it. Connor does pay with his life in the tail end of it, though, and it looks like top 5 have a little... Maybe they're winning the fight here. I mean, it's just Credu and Domo. Credu's a dangerous person, but he's also incredibly low, and Korvac is on the high ground. He can just spam these players out, and that's looking what he's doing. Zebasai does aggress, and Elikor just flees forward into IT. I doubt anybody's actually aware that he did that. He's just kind of roaming behind now and doing his own thing. Just killing Ams, you know?
Just doing his thing, you know, just doing his thing. It's 1 minute 30. I mean, there's still time to get some sympathy kind of rounds here, especially if they're picking up Domo now, which is looking pretty good. I mean, this aggression, it's working out pretty well. Why didn't you boys do this about 20 minutes ago? They're just walking forward, scout class, you know, taking out everyone, bar Connor, and even him just only getting one of his boys up now. Opti, no fear at all. But
until now.
towards spawn, you know, it's kind of no fear up until the point that, you know, once the boy's basically in spawn, I feel like it's very acceptable to have just a little bit of fear. They got this big old Uber advantage. They can still close that around, at least get a 3-2 scoreline, which makes you feel a little bit better going into map 2.
Yeah, absolutely. If they manage to take this round, it's going to be a lot closer than anticipated. Umbrak does use off his crits, and the crit stickies are connecting onto nothing until now. He pipes down Domo as well as getting Ams with a crit sticky he placed just prior. Elikor still trying to just lay down the damage onto these Ascent players, making sure that that point is clear. Kredu just not going down. The Russian heavy powerhouse. Finally, he gets taken out with some good crossfire there, and they do convert the round in the last possible second, realistically.
It's nice, you know. It's nice to get, you know, a 3-2 scoreline. Ultimately, didn't really matter too much at the end, and you know, from a sense point of view, you can always just be like, oh yeah, we didn't care. You know, it was like whatever. We knew they couldn't win anyway. We stopped trying. But it's always nice, you know, mentally to kind of at least going into map 2 having like the most recent round win feels pretty good. So now, you know, okay, congratulations, Ascent. You know, they seemed fairly confident in terms of most of their pushes. I feel like a lot of the issues they had were more just kind of them going like over aggressive, like they were kind of their own worst enemy at certain times, but a lot of what they did worked. Like I said before the game started, I feel like Metalworks might be a very different beast. I mean, it's not anywhere near as open as processes in terms of kind of, you know, moving through different choke points. The whole map's made of doorways. I don't know whether the same thing's going to work.
Yeah, and like with the game being this close, Metalworks could just be the upset that, or the help that top 5 need to overpower Ascent here. It could very well be. That's quite something. Let's take a look at these logs, though. Let's look at these players and see who was a standout player according to the numbers, which you like so much, Eepily.
Oh, I do love the numbers, you know. I think sticking out. I mean, you got to give some shout out to Elikor. I mean, he did get some cheeky little critters at the end, right? So, you know, padded a little bit of damage stats, but he was pumping out the damage. You know, that kind of can't really be questioned. It felt more like the kind of the stalemates didn't go particularly well for them. When it came to fights, it felt like, you know, they could kind of like fight back and forth, but then they didn't quite have that cleanup in the same way. And I feel like it's reflected a little bit in the logs. I don't know, kind of, you know, pure kind of frag to frag and damage to damage. It doesn't seem too much really in the favor of anyone. Actually, taking a look at it now, inexplicably, top 5 has both more frags, more damage, and more Ubers than Ascent that game. And that is worrying when you lose.
Means that Ascent were just a little bit better with their cleanup, I suppose. They did get less kills, but they needed less kills as well, because many times we just saw them push in dry without really even having to kill people, because the respect that top 5 had for them was enough to scare them away. So I'm supposing that might be why they have less kills overall and have also used less Ubers. I mean, that and Connor did drop ones, but you know.
He did, but you know, it does happen every now and then. I mean, like medic stats, we also see Ombrak with literally half the deaths of Condog. Okay. Getting into the head of top 5 right now, I feel like if their boys are looking at the numbers right now, they're going to be quite frustrated by the end result of that game, just purely from like a numbers point of view. They're going to be like, literally everything here would suggest that we would win that game, or at least we would be in like a commanding position at some point. And it never really felt like they were. It felt like, you know, when they managed to equalize, it felt like things were then back and forth, but it didn't really feel at any point like not just round score, but in terms of like how they were moving around the map. It didn't feel like top 5 were ever kind of commanding things. It was almost always it was working at a sense pace. And when you're playing in that position where the other team's dictating how the game's played, it always just like feels rough. And I mean, yeah, maybe that was the biggest problem.
Maybe it is.
Maybe.
What,
you know, maybe.
What do you think about, though? What do you think is going to be, despite the map being, you know, unknown to the EU crowd for the most part, what else do you think is going to be the driving force? What do top 5 do to take Metalworks?
I think with my very basic Div 6 knowledge of Metalworks, I feel like at least the mid fight, a lot comes down to some of the early positioning. If you can get onto the point, especially as Delman, if you can get onto the point and start raining down the damage on the players, coming from value, even like that main kind of door, you can basically win the fight kind of, in the first like 8 to 10 seconds of the mid. You take that early position, you start dealing the damage. They can't really get through any of like the 3 doorways that mid has, and then that can kind of like just be it. That being said, there are a lot of opportunities for soldiers to go super, super high. There's a lot of high walls that you can kind of, shoot a second rocket off. And like the skybox is pretty high anyway, almost kind of similar to Sunshine mids. It's not quite as open, but there's the kind of bombs where soldiers are so high that scouts can't effectively deny until they've landed on someone's head. So I think the initial part of the mid fight will be down to which demo is able to take some position first. But then even if a team's in a slightly worse position, I think it might come down to which soldiers are able to kind of capitalize the most off their bombs. Because I feel like there's quite a bit that soldiers can do if they have a bit of something to work with to begin with. Again, that's my tiny Div 6 brain. I have it's a scary map.
I mean, I do recall from past games years ago when Mela was still playing, because this game is obviously this map is obviously played in EU. He'd always have that signature bomb on this map where he'd go out the top balcony and just jump off that wall with the windows. Almost every single round you'd see him do that, and it worked pretty well for him almost every single time you saw him do it. So I assume that's probably what these soldiers are going to be trying to do at most points as well. It's a very common spot for them to do those high bombs, and yeah, this is definitely like a less scout-centric map than Process, I'd argue.
Yeah, I feel like because of Process's height differential, if you can get a scout onto that high ground, they'll kind of dominate just because the verticality will kind of control whether a soldier can kind of recontest. It's not quite as significant, the height difference on this mid, but the second you get forced into Valley, if a scout kind of gets onto those crates, it kind of then doesn't allow you to recontest in the same way. It's definitely not the same kind of mid where you can recontest easily by just kind of, fully committing through a choke point as much, just because the chokes are smaller. But I don't know. Honestly, I'm kind of hoping to see either one of these teams having worked out this map in a significant way, either doing something kind of very particular on mids or having like a specific kind of goal to how they approach each situation. Because obviously the temptation for any team, regardless of skill level, when there's a map which isn't played as much, is to basically play it like a pug and just kind of DM. I would imagine top 5 going into this, knowing they're playing against a team which, on paper, people are expecting to beat them. I would hope the top 5s put in a bit of the legwork and kind of, at least plan some good mid strats at least.
Yeah, if they have the superior strategies, you can definitely offset a lot of DM with just having the better idea on how to approach a certain fight. And I mean, I don't know what they were doing, obviously, but yeah, if top 5 have decided to work out a little bit of a strategy and like look into how they could easily counter even stronger teams, and Ascent certainly haven't, maybe maybe their Ascent are just relying on like, oh yeah, we've got Credu, we've got the DM, God knows what, we're just gonna roll this map purely meat braining, trying to shoot anything that moves. Maybe it's gonna be in top 5's favor in that case, who knows.
I don't know. I feel like we need to put we need to start putting some money down, and by money I mean internet credibility. Start putting some predictions down. I'm gonna say I'm gonna give the first prediction. I'm gonna say top 5 is gonna look pretty good, but ultimately, I don't think it's gonna be like super like clear cut easy win 5-0 yada yada. I do think it's gonna go to Ascent. I think Ascent are going through this official 6-0, but top 5 is gonna put up a significant struggle, and it is gonna be close. What are you thinking?
Yeah. That's a very reasonable thing. I think top 5 might even just... I wouldn't be surprised if they dominated the first half of the map, and then eventually Ascent will like stabilize, and they'll realize, okay, they're doing this, because I feel like top 5 probably can get themselves in this habit where they try the same strats. They don't have, like, maybe they have a few strats they worked out, but they're going to try them a lot, and then Ascent are just going to realize, and then for the second half, they're probably going to stabilize and start rolling, or if they gain some momentum, they're probably going to start rolling. But until Ascent can get that momentum going, I feel like it's going to be a very even match, a very stalemate, maybe even just straight up close match. I would not be surprised to see either team take this map. I can fully expect either one, and I honestly cannot make a prediction on which one is going to be the one to beat the other. It's difficult.
That's fear is what that is, you know. That's fear. I feel like you need to be like, oh yeah, top five's gonna win it, you know, just so then we can
You
get
know
some
what?
rivalry.
Sure,
Say it.
top five's
Say
gonna
it.
take it.
You're going down.
I'm
Ascent's gonna
placing my
pound.
bets on top five. Sure.
Well,
Fair
we're gonna
enough.
find out pretty soon because I
Yeah.
think both teams have readied up, and we're about to go into this. The first mid, Metalworks here. First time we've
Let's
seen it, I
see.
believe, this season.
Let's see what these teams are looking to do. Obviously, the rollout's a little bit different from a traditional map, a lot slower as well than many other maps, especially Process. Elecor being the first to mid here as well, does get some damage onto Domo early, opting to take the low ground and just walking onto point there while the rest of Ascent just gathers in the valley. Zebo doing that exact high bomb that we spoke of earlier while Polygon goes deep in valley. He does not manage to clean anything up with it though, before Domo finally takes down the mole and Poly does take down Elecor in the valley. Now the entirety of top 5 just bunched up in this house area here with Kobak finally meeting with his team and re-aggressing as Ams just destroys Neo and Opti.
That is finish scout combo right there. Zero sympathy at all. Neo tried to walk forward, gets 2-shot by Ams. They absolutely don't care at all, and they can realistically maybe keep looking to go. 2 players down on top 5, and Ascent are looking hungry towards this doorway. Thankfully, Ombrak has his Uber, so worst case scenario will be a trade here, but it can be made into a dirty one so easily.
Absolutely. Nobody was looking into that alleyway for a while as well. I was scared that Zebasai might just start suddenly teleporting through there and suddenly he's in a team of top 5, but both teams just opting to be very passive here for now. Just looking to see who's going to be the first one to throw a stone over the wall. It looks to be Ascent as both soldiers bomb in through alleyway, getting onto the point. However, Zebasai paying with his life, and as will Polygon, he does not manage to take anything down. And that double stack is going to force Ascent to just take it passively, back off now, with top 5 rolling through the valley. Seeing if they can maybe try the same thing, but make it actually work. Have the mole taking ground here, taking the charge on his team actually, just going far. Korvac is in behind, and Kredu is there to contest him. Zebasai finally arriving as well, and the Uber is out on the side of Connor. Ombrak finally responding with his own, as the exchange just doesn't really do much. Ascent just kind of falls back, and top 5 finally managed to at least get some time onto the point before Kredu just runs in, and now Ascent
this is good. This is so good for Ascent. The Uber there, it was purely used just to kind of try and get their spawners. The second their spawners are up, they're looking to retake some of this position. The damage has been dealt by top 5, but the position is all the way of Ascent right now. You see the second Ams and Poly get onto the point, they get that height. Top 5's ability to recontest was basically nowhere. I think that was a really nice trade from Ascent. Try and keep it equal, and literally you use that 8 seconds of Uber just to play for your spawners, right? That was 100% calculated. I like that, and it really plays into how Ascent are doing things. Now with these frags as well, I mean, they're just getting these spawners, but they could even start walking in. Yeah, Domo!
They're gonna walk in far right.
Getting so much damage.
And he does pay with his life, but that damage is going to be enough for Polygon to clear up, and Connor now popping off his Uber. Ombrak not even close to an Uber of his own just yet, and Ascent just dominating this fight. Neo trying to just hold them off for a little bit as his Korvac, and they do manage to take down Polygon, but the next soldier just jumps in! Sebo just jumps in right after and takes the point while nobody's on it.
Oh, I mean, it's Ascent doing exactly what Ascent does best, but top 5, they just got overwhelmed. They just let things get out of control a little bit. Too much cap time, and Zebo recognized it instantly. What a way to lose your first round. That's got to feel rough now going into this second mid. Same exact situation as Process. They're at a round deficit, and they need to immediately equalize to kind of keep some sense of momentum.
Yeah, Demo opting to roll out through the main door instead of the top this time around. Did definitely allow him to pull down more damage onto Elecor, since he was not aware where he was. Zebasai is the first player to go down though, and Polygon following close behind. The mole going dangerous low in that exchange, and Elecor getting taken down by Ams. Kredu now very aggressive in the top area there before deciding to back out. The rest of the team being caught in valley. Yeah, Kredu does pay with his life for that. And the mole trying to respond with aggression of his own. Top 5 do take the mid, and they do take down 3 players of Ascent, so a little bit cleaner this time around, a lot better.
Definitely. They're going to start looking to peek towards this doorway at least, but Ascent, they've got themselves set up. They've got the Uber, and they've got, all importantly, Domo ready to spam one of the 900 doorways. You know, Domoman's an incredibly powerful class on Metalworks, And the second he gets that doorway, it's only really the flank which is going to be open. And top 5, they're recognizing this. This high wall is super good for soldiers to jump deep off. And instead of playing inside by the shutter, Connor's actually playing towards the bridge. He's getting, yeah, nice little force there from Korbak. Much easier than where Ombrak was playing last time. And Ascent's going to try and just kind of spread forward, take some positioning. They will secure one frag, but we do still have an Uber now. And we actually have Ams on the back lines now. This is scrappy, but surely it's not really going to work here. I mean, top 5 can basically just start looking to walk forward with their Uber, but Ams is actually buying so much time here. I feel like they're giving him a little bit too much credit.
Yeah, but Chris is far forward just in Valley here. He doesn't seem to notice Neo just walking at him. Looked away at the exact right moment. That's what you call the CSGO. Looking away as soon as the enemy peeks. Am's still in behind, and the top 5 are just not aware of where he is, and he does take down Opti. Korbak now gonna try himself on that battle as well, at least for a little bit. Ams is just buying so much time for his team. It's not going to be enough. His top 5 are capping off the second, but he's still in behind, and he's a nuisance, like a mosquito. It's a little mosquito that top 5 will have to deal with.
You know, when we say, you know, he bought time, I don't think he was even really buying time for second there. He's buying time for his own team to get Uber. That was about a 6% disadvantage. If they were fast, top 5 could have looked to walk in and even go last, but now it's going to be an equal Uber. It's going to be a trade where they've already lost Elacor. So much better Uber by Connor, even if he wants to use a tool. Instead, they're going to sacrifice the life of Polygon, but sacrificing a soldier for the sake of a full Uber advantage is pretty good, but it does leave their flank pretty open now. Demol's going in. He's actually two-shotting Connor.
Oh my god!
What a drop.
Just runs in, jumps around the corner, and meets Connor with the meat. Lovely. That's gonna be enough for top 5 to just say, all right, that Uber this at, not a problem. We're gonna just take this forward. We're just gonna walk more and see what happens. They're gonna be taking this main entrance into last tier, and Ascent are just very far back, trying to make sure that nobody outside Zebasai was hiding though in the far left corner, and he does take Ombrak.
It's interesting how the different teams are playing, like around kind of losing a medic. If Ascent was in that situation, they would have doubled down. They would have fully committed a point, but the second top 5 lose their own medic, they don't feel like they can play that sustained fight, and they just back out all the way. So, once again, this is going to be an Uber advantage for the side of Ascent. They're going to start moving forward. Opti playing a nice little hiding spot. No one has quite seen. He does get spotted last minute, but that is so close. Almost unlucky to not get Condog there, but I mean, doesn't get the frag. Doesn't matter. Uber advantage still, and I feel like Ascent can just keep looking to go towards mid. I think right now, what I'd love to see is some deep bomb, right? Like a deep Domo bomb. Try to get onto Ombrak. He's just in front of this doorway. But nah, he's gonna play inside. Ombrak's just terrified of getting caught right now, so I feel like now Ascent, the second they recognize that, they can start looking to take free, at least players equal Uber from taking control of the midpoint.
And that's what they're looking to do here. Poly bombing deep as well, just chasing out those last top 5 players, making sure that nobody is left behind, that they're all in front of them for the second push. And Ascent taking in through the main area here now. Jesus
How did Connor
Christ,
just walk straight into them? Again, another drop, +2 after +2. Once again, Offbrex are going to have this big Uber advantage. They're going to try and push forward. They're going to take down Dover, but their scouts running everywhere. For God's sake, Ascent is just sprinting every different direction. But they will not be forcing Ombrak. Thank God for that. Jesus. Okay, right.
What a wonderful trap by Elacor. Jesus. Alright, I was not expecting Connor to just blindly walk into those, but I'll take it. That's going to be good enough for top 5. Now with the big ad here, taking it into second as well. Ascent obviously playing passively because of it. They're in the lobby already. They do not want to risk a single thing here, a single player. Zebo is going to be that player, and he's going to pay with his life. Credu also going dangerously low, but he does get chased out with his escapes with his life for now. They do take down Elacor before the Uber gets popped on him. That's sad.
Elacor getting taken down that doorway is going to make this last push so much harder. They have to play so much faster. They are playing towards the point, but Condog has his Uber now as well. Once again, Ams can walk forward, get these all-important frags, and there's only really 2 up. Oh my lord, come back again. He's getting bullied by Finnish scouts. This is not fair. This is not nice. Stop doing this. Ams has absolutely no sympathy. Right, okay. Deserved.
Finally.
Deserved frag there. I mean, Korvac got about 40 arrows, but absolutely deserved frag there. And these juggles from Domo will be taking down Zebo. So, the Ascent push out has been stunted, and they could even maybe look to go last now if they want to go as like an off-Uber situation. Sticky Trap still taking down more and more players. I mean, they're just running through doorways.
They're just running through without any care. both teams are just running for doorways without any care for the fact that sticky bombs are a feature in this game. Just walking into the sticky traps. The demos must be having a field day on both sides right now, just enjoying the ability to right-click and kill instantly pretty much anyone. Elikor caught out aggressively, and he pays with his life. That's going to be enough for Ascent to retake the second point.
Should be looking maybe good to, I mean, in any other situation, like I said, you know, maybe go for a sack, maybe go for whatever, but Elikor's down right now. There's no initial spam. They could maybe go for some kind of trade, some kind of just trying to walk in through the flank. With top 5 playing as close as they are, they don't have that same spam towards point. Especially now they force back both Opti and Korvac. It's going to be, yeah, Sen's going to be trying to walk through his little doorway. They're happy to take this trade at any point. We'll be using now, picking up Opti as well for the pleasure of it, and Umbrak going to be milking and milking and milking and could honestly...
Finally.
Yeah, he will use his, securing one frag. Once again, I'm just going to go behind. This time he gets cleaned up, though. Crispy little direct from Korvac. And another frag's being checked onto the board here for top 5. So, once again, a commanding position here. They can start to move fast. Domo down for another 10 seconds. They can look to play towards last, but so far they've not really been able to convert these last pushes in time.
We've also seen, like, I love the aggression we've seen from top 5 now on this map, and I mean, it does not work off, sometimes it does not. The Mole, Elikor, and Korvac all going down before the push has even started, necessarily not very great, but I like the aggression we're seeing overall. They're definitely playing a lot more proactively than before. That being said, now they're having to back off again.
Well, see, they are, but they've got this big Uber advantage, you know? I mean, they sacrificed 3 guys for a medic, you know? Some would argue whether or not that was worth it. They clearly think it's perfectly acceptable. They can make the most out of this situation. So, moving through flank now. Still 90% Uber advantage. Players on the side of Ascent, nice and weak. And Umbrak, yeah, he's just yelling at his team. Right, guys, we're going to go fast. We're not waiting around anymore. We're going to get this Uber used before Ascent have this time to set up. Players just only capping towards second. As long as we can keep all of his players here alive, it's going to be looking super, super good. They take a decent position, but they're now having to get forced back. They lose callback as well. They do at least trade. But once again, these frags, they're all going the way of Ascent. Elikor getting taken down as well. The push was so keen from top 5, but they couldn't keep up the pressure. And then Ascent just got their spawners, walked in. Same story seen about 3 times this game so far. These last pushes, they're just not working for top 5.
Yeah, I saw exactly what was going on there as well. Elikor going deep on the combo, but he just did not manage to clean up any of those players. Had he just even gotten one of those players there, that could have been the tides turned in that push, but because he couldn't, he had to back out, and that was basically the push over. As soon as your demo's out of it, you just cannot lay down the damage anymore to respond. Now Connor coming up on his own Uber, and Umbrak also. An even Uber situation with Ascent now in the driver's seat, looking to push out into the second day. The use early immediately onto Korvac there. He does get taken down. Umbrak finally using his own Uber, making sure that none of his players die proactively. And Opti going deep below, getting taken down. Finally cleaning up Amza and Zebosai. Polygon going dangerously low as well. The Mole plays with his life though, and Credu is just running forward, gets piped down by Elikor quick and crisply. My lord.
It's nice. I mean, I'm trying to remember the last time I saw an Uber get used on AMS and Korvac didn't die, right? Like, it's got to feel so bad for him. I feel like top 5, they're starting to get a little bit annoyed with this. They're like, okay, we're not going to give you any more respect anymore. We're going to start walking through doorways as well. Picking up with the pipes. Picking up Domo easily, yeah. And Connor and Polygon as well. Okay, you know, they're like, hey, we can walk through doorways just as much as you guys can. They're going to make some really good things happen here as they build themselves up what will basically be 100% advantage. You do see Credu on Spy a little bit,
yeah.
so he's going to be aware of what's going on. They got to prepare for it. You know, dropping at this point, it would be like, I don't know how many drops we have. It's been too many for one match.
It has been. Credu's he's just opting to be a very passive Spy here. He does not want top 5 to smell the French coming their way. However, he's coming up on the players. Korvac, unfortunately, jumping out of his reach too quickly, and he's not going to be an effective Spy player this time around. Nice effort, but it didn't work out as top 5 just keep rolling forward. I don't think Credu was really expecting top 5 to just keep moving. He was still expecting to play like Process, where they just sit around on a point for like 5 minutes at a time, but they're just moving forward. And that's ultimately what stunted his Spy play here.
It's really nice to see the way that Ascent controls these doorways. They kind of keep full control of every aspect of last, literally just by not letting anyone through the doorway. And it's not as easy as it looks, really, because of how early some of these shutters open, but they're going to be pushing out now. Nice little Uber advantage, picking up a player or 2 already. Okay, trading alongside, but I mean, it's about a 5% advantage. It's going to be pretty hard to do anything other than go for a dirty trade. But you know what? I feel like Ams has got, like, you know, Eye of the Tiger going on right now. He's just walking. He's going to W again. I'm feeling it.
He's the Terminator. He has spotted his targets and he's had his sights on them. He is going to try to eliminate the one person that has a reticle around him. We're not going to know who it really is. Currently, it seems to be Opti there, but you know, we're going to see who he's got in his sights, who he's trying to take down with the Zuber. I'm just waiting, honestly. I'm just waiting for Ascent to just use.
We've just seen some restraint for a second here, but it's just for a moment, right? They're peeking and prodding, you know, trying to see what's going to be given to them. It's going to be nothing, right? I like this, right? I feel like Ascent have just taken a moment to think, we are actually a roundup. We don't actually have to go like super crazy and take like, you know, dirty trades everywhere. We can kind of wait a minute, right? They can take a second just to kind of, you know, keep just a little bit of a bit of control. You know, the passion is great, but every now and then it's nice to just, you know, sit back, control the game.
Make sure that nothing slips through your hands. Yeah, it's a lot more. The tides have definitely shifted here. Ascent are being a lot more passive and top 5 a lot more aggressive. They're capitalizing off of Ascent's mistakes a lot more. As the exchange does go on, Connor disconnected from his players for a bit before finally having to escape. Omrek just keeping it solo on Elikor for the most part there. The mole pays with his life in the post over there, and it looks like Ascent are going to be the rising force here. Dealing a lot of damage, taking out a lot of players. Elikor and Neo both paying with their lives as well, and top 5 just forced to back out of mid now. Ascent having the aggression. Once well-timed and perfectly executed.
Yeah, really good stuff. Everyone's just hitting their shots on Ascent. They're kind of, you know, firing with all cylinders. The second they kind of get into that mode of we're taking this fight and we're committing to it, they just activate. And once again, we're seeing really big stuff from, you know, both demos. Like, shout out to Elikor. He's working hard right now, but ultimately, Domo is able to get so much more done, it feels like, in terms of taking position, just because he's got more of his team playing with him. You know, they're more able to take this space. And speaking of taking space, they're just moving a little bit towards the flank this time. Once again, deep soldier bomb, but yeah, Ombrak's so far into this little doorway. There's not a lot the Polygon can do there other than jump into a 185 scout and hope for the best.
Sometimes it works, you never know.
Sometimes, you know, sometimes.
Oh, well, we have Domo also just looking at his trap here. He does not manage to pick anybody up with it, but him being aggressive there just slows down top 5 for a split second before they make their way into the house, making their way through the main. Zebasai trying to be aggressive here. It does essentially aid in taking down Korvac there, and that's going to be an opening in Valley for Ascent to quickly move in, which is what they're going to be doing.
Yeah, we're seeing these same kind of soldier aggressions through the flank. Obviously, you know, you've got this high wall. You can go so high, scouts can't really, like, deny you immediately. And it kind of works unless Ombrak's playing as passive as he tends to. I feel like at that point, they've got to start trying to walk in and focus some of these players who can't get the beam. It does look like Ascent's trying to do that more because, yeah, they see that top 5's back towards this doorway. Now they're thinking, we've got to control this doorway. We've got to control the right, but Korvac's too much of a beast. He's taking complete dominance over the flank. Takes down 2, and then we're into a trade. Only slightly better for the side of Ascent. I mean, yeah, with Neo on the back lines as well, they've kind of just got to go back and focus down some of these players. Only then, really, can they start looking to repush. I mean, they don't have to at this point. The damage is pretty good. It looks like Zebo's trying to just waddle through this doorway. You know, we're going 2010 soldier at this point, and it is looking like it's going to work as top 5 back up, even losing Korvac that late. Maybe a slightly earlier decision would have saved just one of their players' lives there, but it is equal. I mean, are Ascent going to try and bust again? The gun's not quite up yet.
Looks
all the way through this left-hand side. We going in, boys.
They're going in. Never mind. It's only Zebo, and he's reaping havoc onto top 5 there. Opting to rotate through the main door of lobby instead, and now pushing into the last point here. Okay, they delayed it a little bit. They just let Zebo do his thing for a minute, and then they repushed. Fair enough.
I feel like, you know, obviously going through that doorway, it's like, it's super kind of small. It's super easy to get, like, spammed down. I feel like the second they saw, you know, Zebo get that first frag on Ombrak, they're like, okay, speed now doesn't matter at all. We can play as slow as we need to. I think that kind of influenced our idea to, we'll go around main, we'll play as slow as we need to, make sure everyone's nice and buffed up. Just taking that 4 or 5 seconds basically secured that instead of making it a scrappy fight. But third mid, top 5 doesn't get aggressive towards point.
Yeah, they were very aggressive at first. Elocore just shutting out Domo, not allowing him to even enter the middle point. It's not going to be enough, though, because the rest of Ascent arrived and decided, we're going to kill the Mole and Opti and force you out of mid. Very quick, very clean, and that's gonna be a quick mid for Ascent, despite being a little slower.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like even when top 5 can take some early position, the damage comes in from Ascent. They get those frags, and then they can just, you know, do this recommit. This time we're seeing a 3-man sack towards Ombrak. No Uber gets used. I mean, he didn't even have the Uber, right? No Uber gets used. They get no players for it. If there is an opportunity for top 5 to push, it is now. For God's sake, right? They're on mid. Maybe they can look to keep aggressing here. 4 seconds still left on the clock for Polygon, Zebasai, and AMS. They're going to at least spam Ascent out of Valley, deny them from doing any kind of recontest here. So they've gained control of point. Now they're looking towards Valley as well. They need to keep things going. They need to kind of keep things fairly pacey. 3 rounds down. We do see Korvac jump in. Nice damage towards Kondog. And we see... that's such a nice use there from Kondog. He read it from a mile away. Opti would have definitely had that drop. So... good stuff from the French soldiers coordinating, and good stuff from Kondog there just to get themselves, you know, he doesn't quite fancy another drop on the logs.
Yeah, he does not want to let them get any more +2s. That being said, Umbrak now using an Uber of his own just to make sure that these stragglers of Ascent go back to where they belong, aka the spawn room. As Polygon, Credu, Amps, and finally Domo also all get taken down. Zebo's the only player left with Connor, and they're gonna have to back off here for a bit. Top 5 takes second very, very confidently with that later Uber.
As always, this scares me as they try and walk in. They're going to play towards point. Freddy jumps on it, but there's so much cap time now, and this time, Ascent were not prepared at all. Top 5 playing just as fast as they need to. Great stuff. So now they're bringing it back just a little bit. 2-1, Ascent still in the driving seat, but top 5, you know, they're starting to make a few more situations work for them. As always, though, time might end up being their worst enemy. They've got to get at least one more round here, and considering how slow and kind of back and forth things have been, not guaranteed they'll be able to kind of do this if Ascent just tries to slow the pace down a little bit more. I don't know. It has to come down from sorting these mids, though, and once again, top 5, they want to take some initiation. They want to be the aggressors.
That being said, Opti just jumping into the combo, doing a lot of damage onto Connor, and Ams. Domo gets taken down. But Umbrak just got run at by Credu, and Credu's just still wreaking havoc. He takes down the Mole as well. And that's the entirety of top 5 down. While they just try to go for Connor. They just could not get Connor. They had the entire team throw themselves at Connor, essentially, and it did not work out.
I mean, you can see where Ascent are playing towards his Valley position. It's really difficult if a medic starts kiting deep into Valley. It's almost like Valley on Badlands. If you start trying to jump deep onto a medic there's so many positions for him to kite around. There's so much open space for him to be able to see you and surf away. It's super, super hard. I mean, they're also not getting much success when top 5 are playing towards a point. They're just kind of getting spammed by Domo, so I appreciate they're trying different things, but none of it's particularly working. You do see big old advantage again for Ascent. A little bit of a last setup. We've got a gun and a heavy looking pretty good for the Frenchies. And in we go. Ams leading the charge, moving towards point now.
They used through just early enough to not die to the trap, and that's all they needed. They take down the sentry and just scare the rest of top 5 off. Cap the point off easily, quickly. That was the fastest round we've seen yet, and it's just going to cement Ascent with an even more powerful lead, and it just gives top 5 even more of a reason to pick up the pace even more. They can still do it. We've seen it before. It's absolutely possible to take 2 rounds in 6 minutes, but they're gonna have to pick up the pace absolutely if they want to have a chance at not losing this map here. As we're headed into the 5th mid now. Domo getting taken down early by the Mole, just running forward. Very, very crucial there, as the Ascent now lacking a demo, lacking a lot of their damage that they could possibly be dealing, and Korvac is going to use that window to also just jump in. Credu down means no or less scouts shooting him. Opti tries the same, does get taken down. Polygon now getting taken down. Amps getting the beam, does take down Neo and just runs forward, taking down the Mole as well. He just runs in.
Okay, thank God. Jesus, I thought for a second there he was just going to take down 4, like that was going to be brutal. He's hitting his shots, but guess what? At least he ran out of ammo. God, it's so scary. Every time they're against like a 185 AMS, it's so difficult. We're seeing nice pipes from Elocore though. Heals aren't quite contested. He's trying to stay in though. Surely they can take control of this mid. They're going to be able to play off their Uber advantage. as always, they can't just wait around forever, though. And it is actually even a crit on the side of Ombrak, so this is even more important that they can't afford to waste their time, you know? As much as, you know, they're about 60% ahead, like, they need to get through second, they need to get through the last, or, I don't know, like, they need the biggest crits of their life here. Crit does get used now, this tiny little doorway, they're getting absolutely nothing so far. Polygon at least gets taken down, but it's players getting traded absolutely everywhere. Nothing close whatsoever on the Condor. Opti does get this good frag though, actually. Somehow this fight's getting good as Ascent's flank is just nowhere near Connor at all. Somehow this turns it into a 2 versus 2. Zebo's not really able to fight, and as a result, he gets the old 1-2, take it down completely. Okay,
does take down
hits the air shot, but he dies. So I feel like both players win there. Real winner though, it's going to be Neo on top 5 as they don't even commit to capping the point just yet. Okay, they will. I was going to say for a second there, I thought like that's, you know, terrifyingly slow the way they're doing things, but that's absolutely fine now. So we are going to see Ombrak back on the Uber now. Little bit of an advantage, 15%. I mean, building hard and dot pushing, even then it's going to be so difficult for them.
They're gonna have to take the pace so quickly. They're just gonna have to push in and make sure that they somehow win this round. If they fail this push, that might just be it. If they do not manage to cap the point now and win the round, and then, you know, use the momentum in the second one, that could be it. That could be the final nail in the coffin for them for this map. So let's hope that they utilize that. They have the Uber use it off very, very early, just running in their players. Sentry goes down extremely quickly, and Ascent's players are just kiting it away, making sure that nobody gets close. Now Connor using the Uber on his own side as he finally got up, and Neo and Korbak are the only players to fall, but it's not going to be enough for them to really have a chance at this push, unfortunately.
I mean, you know, top 5 kind of had to. It was about 50% advantage. They had to commit here, just like they kind of have to commit just a little bit to second. Time is not their friend right now at all. And as a result, Elikor is going to be so far in all by himself. He's going to run forward, gets blasted straight to the ground. Neo, though, hitting some all-important shots, but I mean, it doesn't really mean all that much right now. We do still have both medics alive. It's turned a little bit into the weirdest game of ulti duo you've ever seen, but I mean, okay, Ombrak's going to be keeping alive now. We even see Ascent backing up to last. I think they've realized it's 3 minutes left to go. They have 2-round advantage. You know, you don't want to start throwing away a game like this by letting top 5 get too much position. The recontest, as always, does come in. Don't go hitting these stickies, as always.
No.
Yeah, Ombrak dies there, 100% of the time.
That's just sad. Unfortunate, really. They had a chance there, but, you know, they just couldn't get the positioning. Well, that's gonna be, I think that's gonna be it, really. That put the final nail in the coffin. It's gonna be Ascent retaking this middle point now, just making sure that top 5 does not even think about recontesting. They have a full Uber this ad. Ascent are just gonna meme this. I wouldn't be surprised if they just meme this at this point. Ams just tries to run in, gets taken down, but what's it really gonna do?
What it's going to do is it's going to offer Jamul the absolutely fantastic opportunity to run in and try and headshot a man. Is he coming? He's nowhere to be seen. Okay. Trading players at least, you know. There is still the opportunity to go for a drop. We have a 3-man back cap, and actually, they're capping pretty damn quickly right now. No one from the side of Ascent can even actually get there in time. Ombrak does die. Uber gets used by Connor, but we see these players from top 5 there jumping all the way. Okay, 2 down already. But Elikor is taking his entire team on his back. He can do it. The 1-man army. Yeah, it's obliterated. Okay.
It was wonderful to see just Ascent coming with the Uber there, and as soon as top 5 cap the point, they just scatter like the rats, just run away, trying to go for the second point. I mean, it's a valiant effort. Certainly, they slipped through, while the entirety of Ascent was just an alleyway, so they managed to at least stall them for a bit. Maybe make it so that it's only a 3-1 victory instead of a 4-1. Because that looks like what Ascent are going to be trying to go for here. They do lack Connor currently, and that means they're going to be at a disadvantage if Ombrak does not die, which is not going to look like it's going to be a real possibility.
Already no one's told Ascent that they're at a disadvantage not playing with heals because they just run forward, go straight to last. Ams doesn't even want to cap points. Look at him, he doesn't care. He's the BM. Alright, 4-1.
You really just wanted to kill Korbak before the round ended.
It's beautiful. You love to see, you know. Right now, Korbak's just like, man, why me? Come on. All right. Well, beautiful little game there. Ascent, you know, the driver's seat the majority of the time, but top 5, you know, valiant efforts. It just seemed like every single trade went the way of Ascent, and it just kind of, yeah, eventually top 5 just kind of ran out of answers for this Ascent hyper aggression, almost dirty playstyle. It's
It
nice to
was
see, you don't see it that
DM.
often.
I think it was just the DM. That's what it boiled down to in the end. You know, they had good exchanges, good trades, but at the end of the day, in the post-super fight, the team that has the DM wins when both teams have no idea where they should be standing because the map's not played much. And it turns out that that's just going to be Ascent most of the time.
So, you know, not to brag, but you did make the foolish observation of predicting top 5 is going to win. Oh, absolute massive brainer predictions for me, and this will be Ascent taking a clean 6 points, and almost quite important really for Ascent. You know, going into the season, people were thinking, you know, Ascent, are they going to be like second place, looking to be contesting 7 at the top? They haven't had quite as clean of a season, but these 6 points is going to really solidify their position as a team which should be making playoffs.
Absolutely. I would be highly surprised if they somehow manage to not make playoffs. Let's take a look at these logs here. The thing that immediately sticks out to me are the 30 kills on AMS and the damage as well for a scout.
It felt like AMS got 30 frags that game. I will be honest with you. Like, you know, I mean, he did get a pretty significant amount of hills. Almost every single transition play or kind of, you know, holding with the expectation of Ubering, that beam was on AMS, but like he was hitting his shots, you know. Every AMS Uber worked to absolute perfection, really. And I mean, yeah, you know, the numbers show it, the score of the game show it. I will give a shout out to Elikor. I feel like he was desperately trying. Like he kept his team in a lot of situations, you know? Like there was a lot of situations where he would be such a key player and kind of gaining advantages. It seemed like almost top 5. It wasn't a case of gaining advantages they had so much difficulty with. It was like securing rounds or securing points off those advantages. It was like kind of capitalizing them, not kind of getting them to begin with, you know? It was I don't know. I always feel like it's slight adaptations in their play, a slightly, you know, different way of doing some of these pushes could have, you know, made this like a 4-3 or even like equal. But I mean, it's all hypotheticals at this point. You know, the score is what it is, and you know, we saw some big plays, which is always nice.
Yeah, we saw some great play coming out of both of these teams, despite the scoreline not necessarily showing it, especially on Metalworks. That being said, I don't know if anybody wants to be interviewed, because that's usually what happens now, right? There's interviews going on. Yeah.
I've heard stories of different interviews at different times. I feel like for the time being, we do have our representative from France. We do have Ombre. How's it going?
Hi, it's alright. It's alright.
Like
a loser.
I was gonna say, what's your Okay, let's. I always feel like it makes sense to go through things kind of chronologically. How did process feel for you in terms of what we were seeing? It felt like there was a lot of Ascent kind of, you know, moving through choke points and kind of, you know, not necessarily always kind of going off Uber, but just taking a lot of position which you guys couldn't really seem to control. Did it feel like it was a lack of control for your team, or was it kind of, I don't know, how did it feel for you guys?
I think the main point is that a lot of the time during that game we had Uber disadvantage, so we wanted to be careful about not overcommitting and make sure that okay, we can concede a point as long as we don't as I don't die or something horrible happens. So maybe from the outside it can look like we gave up ground really easily, and maybe we have. Like, it's hard from my perspective to tell, but I feel like usually when we play them we give them a lot of respect, and maybe we did that again today, but I feel like we did it, maybe we handled that better, that respect, in a way that I didn't die nearly as much as I used to die against them. And we kind of, I felt like the ground we gave up was alright. Maybe we could have done a bit better, of course, because we lost, but considering our previous games against them, I'm pretty happy with Westbury on process.
Yeah.
Let alone like some failures that we apparently always have on this map.
It definitely felt like you know, definitely in the second part of the game, like there was like it did feel really close. There was a lot of back and forth. It wasn't kind of clear cut by any means. It just kind of maybe some of these scrappy fights, you know, kind of as things often go in TF2. You know, sometimes things just get a little bit away from you. I think the biggest thing is Metalworks. It felt again, from our point of view watching, it felt like you guys had real difficulties securing mids and definite difficulties securing lasts. Do you think that was a kind of a bit of a team thing, or do you think that's kind of maybe something which is you guys aren't quite prepared for that map?
No, yeah, we definitely lacked in last pushes. Yeah, we lost 4-1, but this is definitely not a 4-1 game, I think, that we played. And we had a lot of options to get rounds at some points to get, like, they made some mistakes, we made some good pushes, but all our last pushes except the one we got were on really small Uber advantages, I feel like, if I remember correctly, and we really didn't had good focus targets. I felt like Domo was out of position a lot of times, or at least really disconnected from Condog, and we didn't really use that to our advantage. I think maybe we went too fast on some occasions, so we were too disconnected with the rest of the team. And the mids were really complicated. I feel like when you lose mid, it's really hard to come back on the map, because there's a lot of ground to cover. This is a really huge map, and we haven't figured out how to hold the second point in a kind of an aggressive fashion. So yeah, every time we conceded mid, we had a lot of ground to cover to win it back, and maybe that was some kind of why we didn't win this. But yeah, we did some last pushes, and I feel like, for example, the last push they did to make it 3-1.
Yeah,
they barely killed anyone. They just Uber in, pushed us back, and then they just played straight for the point, and this is how they won the round, and this is not something we were able to replicate.
Yeah, it definitely seemed like that kind of, just take the position, like not even care about the frags and just get that time on point just because of like the weird wall. Like it seemed like super, super good. We do have AMS joining us as well. Surny, I feel like all I've been doing is asking questions so far. What questions have you got for our boys?
I am interested in just how, like, it's always great for me to see. I just love seeing aggressive play, and obviously Ascent and AMS being at the lead of pretty much every Uber was great to watch. What were you guys like? What made you just keep continuing the aggression? Like, is it because did you realize that top 5 were just giving you way too much ground, or like why? Because like you never let up the aggression essentially. Like you slowed down a little bit on Metalworks, but for the most part, you were always in their faces essentially.
Yeah, it's just how we want to play.
That's good.
If we have any advantage to go on, whether that's a pick or a small Uber ad, or if we're able to take round for free or anything like that, we'll just do that. And I think that's how we play in scrims, just because I think that's the best way to kind of improve your coordination and communication. Like sometimes we'll just, I'll just make the call to like take an area and just chill there and wait and see what happens. And we'll just talk to each other, and maybe Domo's gonna like pipe someone, and then we'll just go on that, or maybe someone's gonna go bomb in, and we'll just try to follow up on that. And then if someone dies, we just leave, and we just practice playing like that together. And I feel like it's a really quick way to improve as a team. It's a good way to like improve your coordination and communication, and it's been working out pretty well for us so far.
The one thing as well that stood out to me on process was that one point where you were really close in choke, and top 5 were pushing through. They had Korvac jump in or something, and you guys just responded immediately and just basically just killed everybody in the choke as they were left alone. I think that something like that happened. That's like a great example of that, really. Like you were right there, expecting them to just come through, Korvac jumping in as he usually did, and yeah, that was great. That was beautiful, honestly.
Thank you.
I think it was when Domo got like a free K, just mulching them in chokers. I mean, yeah, it was great.
Definitely, there's been some convention, especially in European TF2, to kind of play very Uber centric and kind of shy away from trades a lot of the time. But you guys don't care. You're always happy to take those dirty trades, and I think it's gonna be interesting. I guess in terms of AMS, kind of looking forward to the rest of the season. These 6 points really help you guys move towards those all important playoff spots. But I believe you've still got Feint upcoming week 6 or 7.
Yeah,
how are you feeling about going against them? That's going to be very different to a lot of the teams you've played so far. Feint, obviously, they're looking pretty good.
Yeah, they're a good team for sure. It's going to be a tough game. We're going to prepare well for it and try our best. I think. I know that we're very capable of beating them. I think we kind of know what they do, and most of us have played against them a lot already. So I feel like they're going to be more scared of what we do than the other way around, because I feel like they're going to be pretty predictable for us. Like there's like there's few times when we play against them and they do something that we didn't expect, you know. Whereas I think for them it's not really like that. I think we're like a more unpredictable team. And yeah, I believe in the team. I think we can beat them. But even if we don't, like we're still focused on LAN. Like ETF2L is basically just practice for LAN. I think it's the case for every like good team. I mean, obviously you want to win and you're going to try your best to win, but even officials are just kind of, you know, you get what you can out of them, and if you lose, that's like whatever. Like losing at LAN, that's what really sucks, because you know you went there to win. But ETF2L is just practice.
I think Ams just called my team bad.
No,
not in so many words, you know. It's all peace and love and harmony and respect here, you know.
I love you.
It's all good. Are we seeing? Well, you know, Am's already confirmed Ascent's gonna be going to LAN. Ombrak, your boys heading to LAN this year. You guys gonna be looking to crack some skulls?
Well, you know, every team, they just use ETF2 as practice for LAN, and you don't care about. We don't know yet. We started talking about it. We'll see. Hopefully, we can go. But like, there are, as for everyone, like stuff that came up, schedule and stuff like that. So we'll have to take a look. But it's not excluded, but it's not guaranteed either.
Well, fair enough then. I guess only last little question I have is going to go to Ams, and it's going to be Zebo LAN question mark.
Yep.
Oh,
He's back.
Boys.
Oh,
That makes me happy. That makes
Hell
me
yeah.
happy. All right, you heard it here first. Right, what a note to end it on. I think we got to start doing some shout outs, yeah? Right, start us off with Ams. Give us some shout outs. Shout out some love.
Shout out to top5 for a good game. It was fun. Shout out to you guys for casting. Gonna enjoy watching it back later. Thank you for the effort you've put in. Yeah, that's it.
Oh, what a respectful lad he is. All right, Ombrak, you can give some love to.
I feel I'm contractually obliged to say congrats to Ascent for the good games. So yeah, no, it was alright. We had good games. We did better than usual, so that was fine. Shout out to you guys for casting. I know it's a lot of work. Shout out to my team. We're getting better. I can't wait to choke one more time. And shout out to everyone involved in TFTV.
Good stuff. My boy Surny, my brother in Mike, which is probably a really awful saying.
interesting, yeah.
You're gonna shout
That's
out.
where we're
Yeah,
putting it.
I won't say that again.
Yeah, obviously, as usual, shout out to the players for putting on a great game. It's always fun to watch. And shout outs yet again for everybody watching and for having me and all that good stuff.
All right, well, I'll round us off with obviously shout out to Surny and Beta for being here with me, Ams and Ombrak for the interviews, top 5 and Ascent for a really interesting game, and shout out to Zebasai at LAN. Just it's good. It feels good.
Hard.
Right, we're gonna have some more games coming up. I believe possibly our next game will be Sunday on TFTV, which is going to be 7 versus Faint, which is going to be an absolute banger. So make sure you tune into that one. But until then, we will catch you guys next time.